Hi, my name is Greg Gunn, founder of Family ID. Several years ago, I had an opportunity to read a book called Kings and Priests by David High. He tells a story about a business owner who called his pastor and asked to have breakfast with him. In that meeting, he began to share with his pastor his desire to become a minister, to sell his business and go to seminary, get his theology degree, and then go full-time in the ministry. His pastor looked at him and said, I think that's a bad idea. And it took this guy back. He thought for sure if anyone would be excited about him going into the ministry full-time, it would be his pastor, right? His pastor asked him this question. He said, how many employees do you have? He said, about 500. What kind of business are you in? He said, well, I'm in the real estate development and property management business. He said, so of those 500 employees, how many of them have a spouse or a significant other? He said, well, about all of them. And then how many of those couples have children? He said, well, about all of them. He said, so if you have 500 employees, spouses and children, there's about 2,000 people that you have influence over about 40 hours a week. Is that right? He says, yeah, that's exactly right. He said, and what you're wanting to do is sell that business, spend 3 or 4 years going to school, then becoming the pastor of a church that has about 300 people in it. He said, if I'm calculating this right, you have about 2,000 people in your congregation right now, pastor, and you have 46 hours a week worth of influence over 2,000 people. Isn't that right? He said, yeah, you're right. He said, let me ask you something. How could you be even more effective as a pastor than you are as a business owner? If you start thinking about it right, you have got one of the most effective ministries in the world. I say that to each of you as business leaders. You have this incredible opportunity to impact thousands of people for good using your business. I think most business leaders don't consider the fact that they've got this incredible influence, more influence on their little finger than most pastors have in their whole body.